Welcome back to another episode of Backstage with Oso. Today's guest is Damien Wright, photography and videography extraordinaire. Welcome to the podcast.
Too kind, boys. Thanks for having me, man.
What an
That was a pretty good intro, yeah.
It's been called the young goat within the photography industry. I'm happy to call him a good friend as well. So, welcome.
Thanks for having me, boys. It's like something new to sit down and talk. It's pretty new to me doing this stuff, so it should be interesting.
100% glad to have you on. And to start things off, do you want to maybe give us a little bit more of a insight into your background, how you kind of came to where you are now?
Yes, obviously, like anyone that follows me now knows my main thing is like music and events and stuff, but sort of how it started was like had nothing to do with that. So I got a camera when I was probably 12 for Christmas from my pop, because he was a photographer, and I just remember like it just blew my mind. I was like, what is this?
Do you remember what the first camera was?
It was a Canon PowerShot A550, I believe. If I still got it at home.
That's pretty
Little
good.
heap of shit.
Yeah.
It takes 2 AA batteries, and it was just like terrible. But these like kids these days getting 4K cameras out the box.
Was it digital? Like it was a digital camera?
Digital, but it was like a GoPro's like tiny.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And I got that, and just like was hooked straight away. Like I was setting it up like all day, like doing like tricks on my scooter out the front and filming stuff. And this thing was like literally glued to my hand, like from the moment I like fell in love with it straight away. So yeah, that was sort of like what initially got me hooked on it. And then I remember camera phones were a new thing at the time. And I got, for Christmas the next year, I got a camera phone, and I was like,
Did you get the flip up?
Yeah, the Motorola.
Yeah? Was it the Razor?
Yeah.
That thing was badass.
And I set it up on timers and stuff, and like, just from the jump, it was something that definitely caught my attention and sort of I was passionate about from straight away.
Would you say like from then you could sort of see the way that the new age media was going to go, like rather than traditional sort of, newspapers and stuff like that? Like when you got that camera phone and stuff, was it like, you can see there's a market for this digital world?
Yeah,
happening?
I definitely think that like I could definitely look around and see that not everyone was as into it as I was. So I definitely thought it was definitely more my thing than anyone else's. So then from that, it just sort of stemmed from like, going into high school and like doing the film programs and stuff there, and just sort of getting really, really obsessed with it, and just sort of like just shooting all the time. Like, I was the dude at school, like the Peter Parker with the camera. Like I was that guy, man.
Superpowers? Wait.
It's got different superpowers, mate.
Yeah. So then
I like that. Because that's not actually how you first got into it, though, is it? You sort of started with... Because you came from an action sports background, yeah?
Yeah, so like all growing up, like I was always at the skate park, BMX, scooting. Motocross specifically was one I was super passionate about. And then like I was doing this photo stuff as well, and just sort of like combined the two in the end, because I was just sort of fell in love with that more than the other. So I'd then go to the track or to the skate park, but then I was the dude with the camera instead. And I was like that token guy, like, with like, you see like the 10 skated kids loitering and there's always the one with the camera. Like, that was always me. So like that's initially like what like combined those two passions, and sort of one overtook the other. And then it was sort of funny, like when I look back at it now, like shooting, action sports and all that kind of stuff sort of prepared me in a lot of ways for what I do now, like capturing the stuff I capture now.
High-paced.
Fast, like stuff. It's sort of pretty intuitive that it works that way, but at the time, you don't really, think that how it's going to work. So
that's heavy, mate. Because you mentioned that you studied it. So when you studied, was it high school? Was it an external program, like a uni course, or what was the extent of what you studied?
So I started studying in grade 10 in high school. That's when the film program started. But grade 8, 9, I was just like before and after school was just doing it with like a few other kids at school that were passionate about it. And in my free time, on the weekends, I'd take my camera down the beach and just take photos of people surfing. And
I'm glad you said surfing and not just take photos of people on the beach. It's very good that you cleared that one up.
People performing action sports. And it was just funny, man. I was just like so into it before I was studying it. And, like I'd be at the beach taking photos on my camera, and I'd like wait for a surfer to like come in and like run up to him like just some kid, like just so naive, and just be like, man, I got like a sick photo of you. Like,
this is like sick.
That'd be 200
It's
bucks.
like before. I'm like, I just made like a like page on Facebook. Like, if you like it, I'll put it up there.
Dude, I love that.
later.
That's the young hustle, man.
Yeah,
That's the
and
shit.
I just loved it. And I remember I was like 14. I got like 200 likes on this Facebook page from doing that. And I was like, holy shit! Like I was like,
the hustle is real.
Yeah. So then going into like mid high school, started doing this like film program and sort of That sort of blew my mind as well. I was like, well, there's actually like careers in this, and like jobs and like a full industry. And like, so then I got my first pro SLR. Like it was like third hand down from like one of the grade 12 kids.
Yeah.
And then like my stuff started to like actually look pretty good. And like I was like one of the only kids that actually invested in, you know, I think I sold like my RC car and a stereo or something to pay at least like $200 for this Canon
badass.
500D. Shout out Canon 500D. That's the best. And just, you know, started doing like short films and stuff all the time. You know, I'd shoot all the stuff for the school, like the school paper and like the newsletter. And whenever there was like the swimming carnival and sports carnival, I was the dude that would just take the photos.
So you're
like,
always the go-to guy.
I was, it was always my thing. And like, it's funny when I see people from high school now, they're like, oh, you're still taking
Still
photos.
doing
I'm like,
this shit,
yeah, dude, like it's just what I'm about. So, and then yeah, straight away, like I pretty much knew that I was better than most people at it, probably because I put in like so much time
you
into it in high school.
yourself.
Yeah, like, you know, I had, you know, I was getting cameras and lenses and stuff like in high school when everyone else was just rocking up and using the school's
school shit,
camera and
yeah.
something, whatever shit like we were using then. And so I sort of took the initiative to like sort of invest in it and just sort of go like a lot more heavy on it. And then yeah, so last year's high school go by and I like, you know, I win like a lot of awards in high school. I got like, you know,
Hey.
best editor, director. I got Bond University Film Student of the Year in
Oh, shit.
Queensland. Yeah, so
That's killer. For
Yeah,
anyone
so-
who doesn't know, Bond University is one of their highest regarded universities, would you say, Andy,
Yeah, in Australia.
Yeah.
so they actually reached out to me like when I was in high school and like took notice of what I was doing and so yeah, sort of like, you know, maybe like reassure me that I was, you know, I was doing something right and
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. And by that point I was sort of more into like cinema and like short films and sort of didn't do as much of the action sports stuff. And then I started, actually my dad, when I was like 17, came to my room and he's like, oh, I just saw this thing online, because he's always been into motorbikes and stuff as well.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I found this internship. It's like making content for some like motorbike company. I was like, what? Like is it-
super bikes or motocross?
yeah, like
or?
motocross and superbikes and stuff. And
Yeah.
I was like, what do you mean? Like, there's like a job? He's like, yeah. So then he drove me down there. And then, yeah, met with these guys and they were just like, probably expecting someone a bit more experienced. And I was just like this 17-year-old kid that was just like, oh, like I'll shoot some stuff for you. And then like
Yeah.
started shooting stuff for them like for free and just on the weekends, like when I wasn't at school. And like they ended up investing in me and like getting me some gear to use. And I actually got to like travel around Australia. Like went to Sydney a few times and like shooting like,
Like Bathurst kind of circuit stuff, or like what was the equivalent in like...
so it was like more marketing material like for their websites and stuff, and sort of just getting like into the professional scene like quite early and like sort of like I thought I knew it all back then. I think as we all do, and I was,
Yeah.
like started to get very confident and stuff. But yeah, it was like just doing that like full time and yeah, that was sort of
So-
my sort of evolution into the.
So
what I
going
get to
from
now.
there, how the heck did you end up in a club? Because I know how we met, but I want to know
Yeah,
how
so-
you got into a club.
It's funny, man. Like, so was just basically always obsessed with cameras and stuff. And then I turned 18 and then started going out. I remember one night specifically, I went to my old stomping ground Club Live and was just drinking with my mates. And I saw this dude with a camera in the club. And I was like, what the fuck is this? I was like, because like, it's like when I first started going out, it was like, you know, when Harry Potter, when he first gets to Hogwarts, like,
Yeah.
this whole other world
Yeah.
that has been hidden from me my whole life. This is, I just loved it straight away. I was like, I love the music, love everything about it. I was just super hooked on that straight away. And I was like, wait, there's a dude taking
There's a
photos
career
in
in
the
this.
club? I was like,
Yeah.
fuck, I'm like, that's sick. I didn't even think of that as a job or something that existed in my life. And I was like, that's really cool, man. So I was chatting to this dude, like he was super chill, and I was like, fuck, that's like really, really dope. By this point, so I got guaranteed admission to Griffith University to their campus in Southbank because they have a really dope photo video program up there. So I was just doing that through the week, going up to Brisbane for uni. So then I started working in a bar as a glassy at the time, just like to pay bills on the weekend because I'd already moved out and stuff. So, and then I was like, wait, there's like a job, you can shoot photos in clubs. I'm like, that's really cool. So I was just working this bar for ages, and then we had a photographer, and then eventually, like I'd always talk to him, and then eventually he left to go shoot something else, and then someone was like, oh, like, you know, Damien's a photographer.
Yeah.
Like, why don't you get him? And I
Give
was
him a
like,
crack.
I was like, oh, like, yeah, I guess, like, I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
And I was like, from what I was used to like flash photography, it's like it was basically like learning all over again.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I got into that, and they gave me a shot, and I was shooting for like basically like nothing. But
Peanuts, like bar rates.
yeah, man. Like I was getting bar rates, and then like other clubs I'd go like before work on those nights, and they'd just give me dinner and like some drinks, and I'd take photos and like have no idea what I was doing. Like
that's the young hustle, the foot in the door though. That's cool.
But I was just having fun. Like I didn't really see it as like, because I'd shot my whole 7 years before of my life like not getting paid for free because I just loved doing it. Like I didn't see it as a job by any means by that point. So I was just excited. I was young, getting free drinks at the club. Like I was, this is cool. Like,
Killing it.
Not bad.
yeah.
Not
So then I
bad.
eventually ended up transitioning more into just doing the photos for the places instead of working in the bar. And then so I did that for like maybe 6 months and like got used to flash photography and like that whole thing. And then one day we got like a guest DJ to come in. Shout out my man Brittany.
Yeah. Was this about the schoolies era or?
Yeah, this would have been probably 2014, I think.
2014.
2014.
Damn.
So aging myself here by saying.
Yeah.
And was definitely getting the hang of it by then and like pretty comfortable like shooting in clubs and stuff now. And he came and played a set and I was like, I'd never really like heard Melbourne Bounce or like any of that stuff yet, and that was like still super new to me and hadn't shot it like a DJ really by any means in a club properly. And he came through and like it was like the first time I hung with like a special guest DJ, like touring artist, and I was like got some really cool shots. And then I remember like he posted them and I was like, holy shit, this is like super crazy. And like they were probably like the best photos I'd ever taken, I think, by that point. And I was like, wow, like I maybe have a thing for this music thing, like taking photos of artists, because I was got obsessed with like all the music and the DJs and stuff, and then was obsessed with the photography as well. So another way I like could combine those two passions. And then later that year was lucky enough, the club I worked at, Melwood's, we had the schoolies contract.
That's right.
And if anyone doesn't know, schoolies is basically the equivalent of spring break in Australia.
It's insane.
It's more or less 2 weeks straight of just every DJ I would have ever killed to work with ever, doing shows every night
all
for
in
2
one
weeks.
location. Like it'd be the jackpot for this.
Oh, dude, yeah, it was unbelievable to think back at the time, like how out of my league I think that whole thing was. So because I was the resident for the club, they let me shoot as well, obviously, and I shot some like crazy artists. Like even thinking back now, like I shot Timmy Trumpet and Will Sparks and John Fletcher, and like when I was still really like pretty new to it, and met like a lot of their photographers that they brought with them, and just shot like hundreds of fucking DJs in this 2 week span, and just sort of went hard on that, and really like got into it after that, because then met everyone and like got some sick photos, and sort of from there it just sort of took off.
So when you're saying you met like other photographers and stuff like that, so some of these bigger artists, they already had tour photographers with them.
So that's when my mind got blown. Again. So,
sick.
Nate Doran, I believe, and Micah Dunshee from Melbourne, like they came up like with artists, and I was like, wait.
Yeah, because they were shooting like Scandal and stuff like that.
Yeah, Scandal
was it?
and Joel and Will and stuff, and I was like, wait, you guys got flown here.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah. Wait up. Level up again.
Mind blown again.
Yeah.
You guys get like, this is all you do? You just travel with artists and just shoot that and you get paid? And they're like, yeah, man, like that's what we do. And I was like, holy shit. I was like,
yeah.
It's just like I didn't even see like these things as like options. I was stoked just doing what I was doing. I was like, wait, like I could do that.
Because now it's crazy, like even seeing it from like an artist perspective of how much this industry revolves around the content we need to create. So having a full-time content creator like yourself on board is like next level for any artist.
Yeah, and like by that, like at that time, not many people had photographers. Well, I feel like it was a way less common job than it is these days. So it's sort of, in a way, made it harder because there was less opportunity, I think, back then to do it. But like once I realized that was also a job, I was like, fuck, like I really want to do this. Like this DJ thing is like, and the music industry is like really appealed to me. So I was like, networked with all those artists and stuff, and then had the best 2 weeks of my life. Just party and shot and did all sorts for 2 weeks straight, and it was just the best. And then after that, I was like so G'd up, and then nothing. It all just went away.
Yeah.
Everything went back to normal. And then,
dude, I know that feeling.
Yeah, and I was like, I was super jacked up. I just, like the post-schoolies depression, man. It's real, man. And then, I was like probably 2014, and I was like, fuck. It was all gone. So then, it wasn't really until the same time the next year that like anything like really significant happened. Obviously, all year I shot and worked and, went to like, I'd go to the clubs with you and stuff on occasion and just take photos of you after work and just sort of...
Because that was kind of the thing. Like, it wasn't really... I'd say on the Gold Coast in general, it wasn't really like a common thing to actually book guest acts on the Gold
No,
Coast. Gold Coast has
definitely
always
not.
been very about their residents. So to actually have a guest act on the coast was
We'd have
actually
like
pretty
maybe
rare.
like 2 or 3 big shows a year, like
Yeah.
if that, and like the main place that would get acts and stuff was Platinum Nightclub.
Yeah,
which-
Platinum
which,
was they were like they're leading the way there.
Which when I discovered that place and like they had massive acts all the time, and I saw the first one there, I was like, whoa, there's
Yeah.
like the club that I used to shoot at did not have any production or lights or anything cool.
No.
It was just decks and a rail, and that was about it. But then so just by the following year, the schoolies came, I was like exponentially better than I was the year prior, and met all those people again, and like networked with them again, and sort of made myself familiar with like this whole Melbourne scene, and then was just sort of and the reason I was mainly doing photos at this time, and the reason I wasn't doing video was because my camera couldn't do video at the time. I was using a 40D, whereas kids these days understand everything's 4K cameras and stuff straight away, and so that sort of took me away from video initially when I got into the club stuff, because my camera just couldn't do video, which sort of sucked. So I had to basically relearn all this video stuff and get back into that. So that's all I did that year. Because I'm mainly known as a videographer these days.
Dude, your shit these days is looking fire.
Yeah.
Thanks, boy.
Yeah, it really is, man. Like watching your growth alone has been it's been really awesome to see, man. Like, it's cool because I remember when I first started seeing you getting traction, you were just passionate. Like, we did free photo shoots together.
Oh,
we
dude,
did
it's like we lived in the
heaps
same
of shit.
building. We'd just take photos and like for random.
He was my
clothing
content
stuff
creator.
or-
And
yeah,
it was great, man.
We just kick it, and
Then
then
it got a
so-
bit expensive, and it was like,
Yeah.
nah, just like it was actually it was really cool because I actually remember when I played at Platinum, because it was like one of my first ones outside of
Dude,
Surface.
yes. So yeah,
Yeah.
you played at Platinum. So I'd
Told you to come along.
Yeah,
Let's
it
get
was
some
like
shit.
the next year and a half goes by, and I'm still going hard at this thing and just getting as best I can and networking with all these people, and then I ended up leaving my other job and just shooting like on the side, and then working this other bar, and I had a Friday night off, which was unheard of.
Rare.
The stars aligned for some reason. I had a Friday night off, and you were playing at Platinum Nightclub, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god, Platinum Nightclub, like
Let's go.
that's sick. And I was like, dude, yeah, like, I'll come. I think you had like a bootleg coming out at that time as well, so I was like, we'll make a little
Yeah,
video.
that's right.
And we made this little video and like took some photos and stuff and just had fun. Like we just partied, and then
Yeah. People are still using that promo video too.
Bro, I know.
In some of my stuff, I'm like, it's out of my press pack. Where are you finding this?
because I saw it recently, I was like, man, that video
Yeah,
sucks. Dude. Like
dude.
we've done way better shit.
Oh, it
since
was
then.
very cinematic though. So your the high school demo was shining through in that. It was very
Yeah,
cinematic. It looked
yeah,
really
for
good.
sure.
Still to this day, it's still good.
Yeah, it still probably holds up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the people that ran the club were like, oh, like who's this kid? Just made this dope video for this dude that we booked. Like that's cool. And then I think I went there and was drinking like the following week and just sort of meeting people and just sort of getting out there and sort of just trying to get my face known. And one of the dudes from the club comes up to me. He's like, oh, like I saw your video you made for Jake. That's sick. And then he goes, oh, what's your Instagram? So I show him Instagram. And then by that point, I'd pretty much decided my brand was going to be specifically
Artist
music and
photography,
artist
yeah.
photography and that sort of stuff. So he goes on, has a look, and obviously it's it's all the schooly stuff. It's photos of these big
artists.
Australian
Straight away,
artists. So
yeah.
it made me look like probably
You already
like I
had
was
this
better.
base.
Yeah, so it was like the proof of concept that I sort of could do what they wanted. And he goes, well, do you want a job? Bro.
Sick.
I was like, where do I fucking sign?
From bar to the club.
Yeah,
Let's
I'll
go,
check the
baby.
calendar out.
Let's
See
go.
what-
Yeah.
Let's go. So that was like the biggest thing for me. I was like, oh my god, like I'd been looking at this club for years, and and basically this club, like we had fucking CO2, confetti. It was a full production, and we had basically a touring artist come in every
weekend.
week.
Yeah.
So like this, so then started there, and I remember the first one I did there after you was Havana Brown, and I just went hard in the paint. Made a dope video.
Yep.
Probably not dope by my standards now, but like I made something sick and took like bulk photos. And I remember the owner was like, man, like the other guy would just give us like 50 photos. You give us like 200 photos and you made us a video. Like, that's crazy. And I was like, I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, isn't that what I was...
Shit, I got up my rates.
I was like, oh, isn't that... what I'm
Standard?
yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I was like, okay, maybe I'm doing more than other people, I guess. So then... Yeah, from then it was on, man. Like
Credit to your work ethic for that, man. Like that's.
But it didn't feel like work. I was just like, just happy to. I was so grateful to be there that I was like just making the most of it, and I was like, I just wanted to.
Because especially
deliver.
through that club, like I know a bit of your backstory, so I'll chop in a little bit. One of the big connections you met through there, Sunset Boys.
Yeah,
Tell
so-
us a little bit about that.
So I started there in probably early 2017, I think it was. It was like mid 2017.
Yep.
And then, yeah, like, within 2 months of shooting that, you know, we had Will come through and, like, these big acts and Timmy and all that sort of thing. So I was, from when I started there to, like, I got, like, better. Like, we always talk about these level up moments, like, together.
100%.
But that was, like, you know, I got to practice shooting a live show with a big artist every single Saturday night.
Yeah.
And, like, I got to work with, you know, the lighting people and, like, the tour managers and stuff, like, straight away. And I was, like, very in the deep end at first, but it made me learn a lot very quickly. So I got very, very comfortable there and very, like, confident in what I was doing. And I was learning heaps, like, every single week myself.
And you're learning on the fly too.
Yeah.
Like, there's no pre-rehearsal for this shit.
Nah.
You're just
I was
there.
learning on the fly and just, like, you know, I had every, like, if I fucked something up on Saturday, like, next Saturday I'll try something different. And just literally use it like the gym, like, and by this point I started shooting clubs through the week as well. So I was shooting, you know, 6 nights a week.
Damn.
So I was probably taking, you know, between 5,000 and 10,000 photos and editing, like, every single week. So, like, just by pure numbers, my stuff was just getting better and better and better.
Yeah.
Just
repetition.
Just practice makes perfect, man. And I'd try and make recap videos, you know, every single week for all these artists and stuff. And so indirectly, for working for the club, like, my stuff got better. But then these artists that we'd rebook and stuff because basically no one brought a touring photographer with them to that club. So I was their dude. So, you know, I'd give all these artists content and everyone would meet me, we'd hang out. And so, you know, sort of fast forward another year or two, these artist Sunset Bros come through. And, like, we hit it off, it's dope.
Yeah.
I think back now, and then I used to, like, I'd backstage, I'd be so G'd up to meet people and would not be cool at all.
He was fanning.
I would fan out so hard and
Yeah.
get photos, and I'd be like, oh, this is my video I made last week, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'll make something like that for you, and that kind of thing. And we'd just shoot a lot of big artists and stuff, and then because they were all from interstate, if they'd come to Queensland, like, oh, I met a photographer from Queensland, Damien, she shot me at Platinum. Oh, I have a show in Queensland, I'll hit him up.
Yeah,
Bang.
true.
So, like, just by that,
Just created that rapport, like, on the night.
it was just a good, you know, like, way to meet people and just network. Like, every single week was just different people.
100%.
And then, a lot of full circle moments and, like, big opportunities came from the people I met. Like, a lot of people that I shot then, or even back at, like, Melbourne for school, I still work with to this day. Kind of thing. So,
that's crazy.
So, yeah, obviously, working with the Sunset Bros, they'd just gone back from their Europe tour. I remember the second time they played, and we were talking about it and stuff. I was like, oh, dude, like, show me the videos and photos. You must have, like, some crazy shit. They're like, oh, no, we actually don't really have anything.
Yeah.
And I was like,
whoa,
you just did, like, 2 or 3 months in Europe, like, doing all these shows, and you don't have
anything
like,
to
what the
show.
fuck?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, like, yeah, like, you're right, kind of thing. And then, you know, we stay in touch and stuff, and then, you know, so another year goes by, and I'm just, by this point, you know, putting out show reels and stuff, and shooting bigger and bigger shows, like, around the state, and, you know, getting flown around a little bit now by this point, going to Melbourne, and, like, when I got a flight paid for and a hotel.
You're woke.
Dude. Dude, I was like,
I am the goat.
where's the red
Not saying
carpet?
I created Damien, but I was there.
You
I'm
were
just
definitely
playing.
around, man.
But like, that was one of our first shows together. Was actually interstate at Lucky.
Yeah, Lucky,
wasn't it? Yeah.
We did Billboards and we did Crown and I think maybe one other. We did like dude,
That was
proper budget shit, man.
That was
we
torture.
didn't even get a hotel.
Oh,
We
dude,
booked
yes.
we booked the 6 a.m. flight out of Melbourne
no.
after Crown.
Thinking that we could like just go, all right, cool, we'll just stay awake and we'll just go through to the
Yeah,
airport.
we'll just land at 4. We're there for like, 16 hours. Like, what's so bad?
Yeah, easy.
And
That was hell.
I didn't really party, but I remember distinctly having to, because you were partying, you were trying to change the flight to like 10 a.m. and I was like, nah.
Yeah. It was not happening.
The pre-tour manager Damo came out then and I was like, no,
Yeah.
we're going home. So yeah, we did what we could back then, man, just to get the content. And
We definitely did.
I remember, and like, no discredit to you guys, but
Yeah.
I did it, like, you guys covered my flights and like that was
it, man. And
but
we
I
probably,
was stoked on that. I was like, this is sick. I get to go interstate and got to meet all those Melbourne people again
in the
and like,
venues,
and then they sort of saw me getting flown to them and like, started taking me more seriously then, like, because they see other people investing in you, like, oh, there's something to this guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did that, and then sort of fast forward, maybe like another year and a half, 2 years, and my stuff is just getting better and better all the time, getting better gear and shooting bigger shows and putting out show reels and stuff, and just sort of getting my name out there. Like,
because I think that was the moment I really noticed for you was changing. Was these show reels, man?
Yeah.
Like, tell us a little bit more about these show reels, man. Like, how much time are you investing in a show reel? So a show reel is basically a recap of all the dope shit you've done. Basically,
Yeah,
you'll explain it better than me, but I'm trying to broaden it.
Yeah, so it's more or less just a minute and a half of all your best shit.
Yep.
Like, it's like a representation of your brand and like what you're about.
It's
And
a
I remember,
showcase.
Yeah.
I remember like distinctly, I was at the gym one day, I was scrolling, and I saw this dude, Nick Fargar, like he's amazing videographer. He posted a show reel on Instagram. I was like, mind blown again.
Yeah.
I was just like, a show reel, like, what the fuck? That's really dope. And it was cut to this like hyperlenium track. This is before it was cliche to use selenium tracks in your videos. Because now everyone does it. But I was...
Selenium's also still super dope.
Yeah.
No, dude, incredible. But
Yeah.
and I was like, holy shit, I got all this footage at home from all these shows I've been doing, all these people I shot at Platinum, and this stuff, like, I was like, I could make one of these easily.
Put it together, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, all right. And by that point, I'd done my first beach stage, another opportunity that we did together. For schoolies, there's a massive, if anyone doesn't know, there's a massive beach festival that has, thousands and thousands of kids and big artists. And that was my first big stage. So I had all this fire content. And I'd done a few other big shows here and there. So I was like, well, let's try and make one. And, found a song and just sort of cut away at it. And, man, at least like 2 months. Like
2 months?
Yeah, at least, man. It was just like perfecting it and stuff and trying to make it right. And it was just, I would like cut in like a dope show and then like squeeze like a shit one in there. Just sort of like filler and just sort of try and brand it, like make it look like I was better than I was kind of thing. Or just trying to make it as perfect as possible because I was like, this is going to represent me.
Yeah, because you want to show your best face. So there's nothing like against
100%. So then put that out and man, like everything changed. Like from when I put that out, it was like people that I'd like begged to work with that were like too cool, or artist managers that didn't take me seriously. Like I put that out and literally the next day had like artist managers like messaging me like, hey, like, are you free this date? Or like,
see, this is dope. This is what I'm getting excited about this because this is like sick to see like the progression from there.
Yeah.
So then I remember I made a Facebook page and put out the show reel and like, I guess people didn't really know what I did or what I was into really specifically until I put that out because like, I was shooting heaps of random stuff. People were like, oh, damn, as a photographer. But then...
Because like for money and stuff like that, do you do like weddings or like concierge?
Literally everything, man. Like I do weddings and take photos of my friends' babies and... You name it, man. Like 21st, like I'll just shoot.
It's just hustle.
And that's still to this day, man. I'll just shoot whatever it takes. But yeah, I was doing everything. And sort of to put that out was just like a massive thing. It was like, an artist putting out their debut album or something. It was like, definitely a massive statement. It was from that day that I think my career really started.
Yeah.
So I put that out and sort of all the opportunities I got straight away, I was like, man, this is it. Like this showreel stuff and this how I'm branding now is definitely working. So that changed my whole mindset on how I shot shows. Even if I was just booked for video, I'd always get like, clips. And I was always just obsessive with this showreel idea.
Like how you can cut it together.
Yeah, I was like
this end product.
Yeah, I was like, I'd look at my schedule and I'd maybe have, 4 or 5 shows, like big ones maybe, over the next 6 months. I'm like, all right, I can get some dope shots here. And then by then I'll have enough stuff to make another one.
Yeah.
And like, the shows are getting bigger. So then the showreels got bigger and better and the artists got bigger and everything was just escalating. And then I put out another one like the following year about the same time. And then that blew up again because it was just even better, bigger artists, bigger shows and everything. And the same deal again. Then bigger artists started reaching out to me and started taking notice. And then by that point, the ball was just rolling, man. Like it was got to the point where, if you were an artist and you came near Queensland, like my name would get...
You were the go-to.
My name would come up or I'd worked with you before or like, sort of... Definitely my name started to get out there, which was sick. So just got really obsessed with that and sort of doubled down on the video stuff because like photos were great, but like I never got responses like that from photos. Or like never got anything like that from photos. And I was like, man, I think this video stuff is like the key. Because, back then you could tour and kill it, go around the world just doing photos.
Yeah.
And like at the very top of like the industry, you can still do that. But like pretty much every big opportunity I've gotten has come from doing video as well.
Videos, yeah.
Or like, most of these artists can't afford to take 2 people. So if you can do both, man, like that's it. Like if you can take a good photo and do a good video, like...
And just the way like media in general is perceived now, like I know I'm scrolling through Instagram and I like see a photo, I'm like, oh, yeah, cool. Like, but if I see a video, I'm like, oh shit, I'll actually stop and I'll watch it because I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, let's see what's actually going on here. Because you know what Instagram's like these days. You see it more than anyone. Is like how Photoshop shit is. Like fuck, you can be photoshopping crowds in this shit.
Yeah, so it's
you
like
can't Photoshop a
I
crowd.
feel like,
in a
video is definitely way more true to life. So
Yeah.
you know, started really getting into this video stuff. You know, this is the time when, you know, Rory Kramer and those guys were like, you know, really like pushing the scene forward and sort of develop
tours.
Yeah,
Europe,
like I remember
vlogs,
specifically you
like-
sent me that Europe vlog.
Yeah.
And I was like,
That was a game changer, yeah.
So then we were doing some shows and stuff, and I was like, man, I want to make stuff like that. And
Yeah.
just filming everything and like the behind the scenes and just capturing everything and just sort of really getting G'd up on that. And just kept doing more video stuff, and like my style just got better and better and better. And then was still at Platinum at this time and had some other big artists come back through, and then just I made a recap for Tim and for Will when they did some shows there.
Yeah.
And like I put those out, and people were like, fuck, like these are crazy.
These are sick, yeah.
And like I definitely noticed like it was just these level up moments. It was almost like preparation meets opportunity. It's something that I like to talk about heaps. It's like I wouldn't do a big show for 2 or 3 months, but I'm still working that whole time and getting better and better and better. So then when I did a show, I'd make something that was like way better than last time. And it was just these moments of stuff just getting better and better. And then
Do you believe in manifestation?
oh dude, I would like
Yeah.
I would like dream about like shooting big stages, man. I remember the first time I shot, my first big stage was probably like 6,000 people. It was shooting you and like all the boys for beach stage, and I was like,
schoolies. That was sick.
and that's sort of when I really doubled down on my style. Like if anyone sees my stuff, it's, you know, pretty cinematic, pretty zoomed in,
It's
like
cool.
sort of shot like not how a lot of people do things intuitively.
No.
Like a lot of people go like, oh, you know, I'm on a big stage, right? Let's put the big wide on and get that stuff. But I was like, nah, let's put on the 7200 and let's like zoom in like real tight.
Just
on
get
some
that nice
stuff and
movie sort
get
of
some
like,
cool stuff and
Yeah.
shoot it a bit, and like doing slow-mo and speed ramps and stuff when that stuff was sort of not as big. And
Yeah.
so like that sort of made myself stand out. I think it looked a bit more
I think
cinematic and professional, and that's still to my style this day. Like you see, that's how I still work, and I think that comes probably from doing the action sport stuff, man. Like always using zoom lenses and stuff and feeling more comfortable shooting in that way. So then like my stuff sort of stood out from there.
It's pretty cool because it's kind of like as a musician or something like that, you develop your sound, and I feel like you've really developed your style within what you're doing, like to tie it back to your world. Like I see a video now and I'm like, okay, this is a Damien video, or I see someone else.
Dude, I remember the first
Yeah, you
time.
can actually really tell.
The first time someone said it to me, I'm like, like when I watch a video, like straight away I know it's yours, or if
Yeah.
I see a photo, I know it's yours.
That color grade,
I was
baby.
like, yeah.
No, but you do have a good color grade too. But there's a lot of other things.
See my LUT pack, $99 US.
Yeah.
Link in the bottom.
Yeah.
Someone on 1.7.
The 1.7 LUT pack. But yeah, it just sort of just escalated, and as I took it more seriously, I got to the point where I didn't have to work a side job anymore. So I got to quit bartending and working in that industry. As much as I loved it, was just shooting full time. So it was, you know, every week it was just shooting thousands of photos, making videos all the time.
See, that's
And
the
just
ultimate.
Sort of, just sort of getting my stuff to where it is now, and slowly getting better gear, and ultimately, the opportunity just got bigger and bigger.
So let's fast forward on that a little bit. So when you went, we were talking about manifesting before and stuff like that, and would you say Europe tour? This is what I really want to dial in on, is the Europe tour with the Sunset Brothers, because I feel like that's what I really want to know about, because I know some of the ins and outs of that.
Yeah.
But that was a crazy time for you, yeah? Like, that was like... Because I remember when you told me, you're like, man, I just went and bought this suitcase. I just went and got this shit. I got this, I got that. I came to your house before, a week before.
I was so gassed up. So it came sort of full circle. Like, I just...
So what year was this? Set the scene for me.
2019, man.
2019.
Euro Summer 2019. The boys hit me up probably like a month out, and we're like, yo, we're doing this Europe tour again, just like we did last year.
Yeah.
Like, would you want to come along?
See, that's huge.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. Like, I was sort of wigging out. I was like, oh, I'm going to have to quit my job and do all this stuff. But I was so G'd up. I was like, man, absolutely. Like, I don't care what it takes.
Make it work.
Yeah. I was like,
Because moving overseas is hard. Like, you have to, like, quit your rent. You have to find somewhere to put all your shit. Like, you got to do, like, a lot of things like that.
it's tough, but I was like, it was like the dream, like for so long. So, it was just doing heaps of big shows leading up to that, and getting good. Yeah. And just got ready for that. And the boys wanted me to do it, and like it all sort of lined up, and we took off. And yeah, like I'd done like a fair bit of traveling around Australia by this time, and touring, but like by no means, anything like this. I'd go away for a week at most. By this point, and, we had like a solid 2 months.
And you're living out of a suitcase this whole time, too.
Yeah, it was like, well, luckily by this point I had friends that had started touring. Like Vinny and Brock and like these other guys that had sort of taken off before me. And I remember like I got like booked, and I called him straight away. I was like, man, I just got asked to go on tour, like like just having like so excited. And I was like, man, like, can you please, like, do you have any tips, or like, I don't want to like make any mistakes, or like, I don't want to fuck this up. So they passed on like some dope knowledge and sort of streamlined like a lot of the stuff, you know, just about traveling and, you know, how to conduct yourself with the artists, and just get like mentally preparing for like what I was about to get into, because I didn't really.
Because I think that's actually a really good point before you go too far, is how you conduct yourself with the artist. Because I feel like this is a very important thing that not a lot of people understand within the scene, is like, you know, like how to approach an artist, or how to act around an artist, or, you know, you're not getting fucked up on a night out, and, you know, it's about them. Like, can you give us a bit of insight on what you would
absolutely,
say
like,
to an up and comer?
Yeah. So like, it's so easy to get excited, and I did this a lot. Like you know, like, it depends on, like, you just got to read the room. Like, you know, if they're all chilling and like drinking, having fun,
like that, but
you just got to sort of suss the vibe, and like, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I used to, like, I'd always get photos of the artists and stuff, because I was young and excited. And
yeah,
it was sort of not too, like, it sort of fit the vibe. I wasn't being pushy or anything. But yeah, you just sort of know the limits of like the artist, and definitely, like, once I started getting taken more seriously, I sort of started taking myself a bit more seriously, and sort of, you know, being more professional, and just sort of conducting yourself in a professional way, and sort of, and not like wigging out, because as I started to get more and more well known, like, I started to shoot like some really big artists, and like, you know, you just have to just.
There's attention on you as well. It's not just the artist.
Yeah, of course. Like, you know, there's eyes on you as well, but also you want to make a good impression. And like, and like, I like just to have fun. Like, I feel like I'm a pretty fun dude to be around, and an artist sort of fed off. The artist sort of fed off that as well, and like, you know, I was a good time, but I wasn't being a drainer by any means, but.
So on your experience in Europe, what would you say is your absolute high point, and also what would be your absolute lowest point?
It's like people, and I like was guilty of this. Like, you'd look at that sort of experience from the outside and go, man, like, you're so lucky. Like, that's the dream. You know, you're in Mykonos, and there's parties, and there's girls, and there's whatever, and you're having the best time. But then they don't see, you know, the 3 days of traveling and no sleep before that. And like, that's the best way to put it, is like the highest highs, and then the lowest lows. So it sort of meets somewhere in the middle. It's like, I wouldn't trade that for the world, but fuck it. It like evens out on the side of worth it, but like only just.
See, I think this is the crazy thing that a lot of people don't see, and I think I only see this just because
you're in the industry,
But
and like, you've done a fair bit of touring yourself, so you can speak to that as well. But like
it's crazy. Like, after a show or something, I'm going to bed. I'm exhausted, and then I'm going straight to a flight. Whereas you're going to be up editing. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah, like, it's obviously the beauty of being the artist is that, you know, like, you start to work too, but, you know, you rock up with USBs and your headphones, and you're pretty good to go. You're like, whereas, you know, we got to charge all that shit, format the cards, get everything ready, go to the hotel. Everyone's either going off partying, and like, I missed out on a lot of fun. So go back, charge the stuff, import the photos, get them done. You know, back up everything, and get ready for the flight. In the morning, like, and as much as like. And, you know, I'd have maybe a shot before the show, and, you know, the boys and everyone would get lit during the show. So then by the time the show was over, you know, everyone's fucked up. And I'm not. So then it's like, all right, my job now is, you know, get the USBs, get the music, let's get everyone back to the hotels.
Almost like mini TM.
Or like, in a way, sort of subconsciously, just making sure everything was all right, and you know, there's no point.
It's like our Melbourne trip. Don't let me change our flight booking to 10 a.m. Just make sure we stay on that 7 a.m. schedule.
And like. That Europe tour was definitely like a defining moment for me as well. Like, just to be overseas, working, and like people to see that was like, fuck, this kid must be pretty good. If people are, you know, investing this much into him and taking him around the world, like, he's obviously like knows what he's doing, kind of thing. And just to be seen by other artists to be doing that was like very, very good for like the branding and stuff. But in terms of just the touring experience in and of itself, it is hard, but like, it's the best times ever. And the thing that made it easy was like, me and the boys, like, we clicked, and we were best mates. You know, if you're going to be with someone, you know, 24 hours of a day, non-stop, through the best times, through the worst times, for, you know, 2 months straight, you got to be homies, man. I couldn't imagine doing it with someone that, you know,
someone's draining
click with.
That's the last thing you want.
Like, it would have been really tough, and like, it definitely was, you know, like, you know, we had a pretty, like, looking back at it now, I didn't realize, because I hadn't like done a big tour before, so I didn't know what a fucked up schedule was, or what a good one was, or like how it all works. And our schedule was like, we had a lot of shows, and like a lot of traveling between the UK and like the Greek islands and stuff. And like, for anyone that hasn't been, there's no direct flight to Mykonos to the UK. It's 4 flights or whatever in like 12 hours. It's a whole thing, man. Like it's
Getting in your robo, going across.
yeah, dude. Like it's a whole thing. Like to do that, and so it definitely takes its toll. And like I got very, very used to flying like very quickly, and you know, sleeping on planes is like my superpower these days. You know,
Damn, dude, that's a good
if,
skill to have.
if you don't, man, you just won't get through it. Like it's just not possible. So I got used in the deep end again. Just had to learn on the fly and get used to life on the road like very quickly.
Yeah.
I
think that's the coolest thing about it too, is you kind of kicked out your safety net as well by saying like, hey, I'm leaving Australia. Like you left a stable job, like in the clubs and stuff like that. And I think that's like a big thing that I think a lot of, I guess, sort of like entrepreneurial people, like that is a massive step in itself.
Oh, dude, terrifying.
Yeah.
As well,
Yeah,
but like, you know,
scary,
I was
man.
like, I just sort of believed in like the potential that this opportunity had, and then I knew that, you know, when I got back, you know, I'd figure something out, and I was like, you know, even if I come back and I'm homeless, you know, this 2 months is going to be worth it, like for sure, you know, like.
So how does it all work? Do you like, because I think it's somewhat easy to understand. You know, you go overseas and you take photos, you do videos, and you're flying around all the time. But logistically, you don't have to give us exact figures and all that sort of thing. But you know, are you getting paid there? Like, what's the general standard?
Yeah, so
like, how does that all
obviously,
work?
like, you know, you don't want to fucking burn through the life savings and stuff. And by that point, I knew I was good at what I did. It was my full-time job. So obviously, you know, like they pay all the expenses, like all the flights and food and hotels and stuff. And then, you know, obviously, if I'm over there, I still got bills. I still got rent back home. I still got phone bills. Still got all this stuff. And then, you know, also like you want to come out of it with something to show for it. So obviously, depending on what artist like you work with, like depends on how much you can get paid. It just comes down to, you know, like what's it worth to you.
Yeah.
And for me, like that opportunity was worth more than money could ever
100%.
any figure. So like just did whatever it took just to make it happen in terms of like financially, but
make ends meet.
Yeah, I was like, like if that's what you can afford, like I'll make that work. Like let's do it. So, obviously like now, like obviously you get everything covered, everything paid for, but it's the money side, especially when you're starting, is like I would not be where I am now if I hadn't shot, you know, stuff or taken losses on gigs before. Ones. But like some opportunities, money just can't buy.
Exactly.
No,
it's like 100%. I've seen people like give up, you know, a festival media pass, like a free one for the day, to go and shoot some corporate gig.
Yeah.
But they went and made $400. Oh, but you're shooting for free. But it's like, yeah, but the photos and videos I'm gonna get at this festival are gonna get me 10 more gigs paid.
100%.
Easy. Or like the
short-term
the
bag
network,
for long-term bags.
Yeah, or it's like the networking and stuff that you get from, you know, shooting one event for free, and you know you get 10 more jobs from that.
Yeah.
So it's like sort of what's more important.
And I think the cool thing about like our music industry as well, and especially when you're on that higher tier with the artists you're with now and stuff like that, like you'll find like they're some of the nicest people in the world. It's kind of weird. Like I kind of feel like there's this weird divide in the industry of people that are coming up. And there's this thing. There's like
ego
this
falls
ego
in the middle, not the top.
Yeah, you either have an ego death and you become successful, or you keep your ego and you stay here forever, and then you're the same guy bitching about like, you know, what's wrong with the industry and everything. It's like,
it's the same for what I do. I think as well. Like I remember, you know, after like probably like my second school, he's just thinking that I knew everything, and I was like, I'm the shit. Like, and I was very very naive because you don't know how much you don't know. Like, I think everyone gets to the point, you know, you get Lightroom, you put your clarity on 100, and you think you're the shit.
Yeah.
And then you learn
that for a while.
Yeah, I think.
Still doing that today.
It's all good. It's all good, Dame. I'll edit my own photos. Just send me rules, baby.
Yeah, everyone does it.
We learn.
But it's like, it's the weirdest thing because it's so true. Like, so like the photographers that I'll meet that like, you know, have hundreds of thousands of followers and work for the biggest artists in the world are the sweetest people and the nicest people I've ever met in my life. And then I'll meet, you know, I'll be on the road and I'll meet some resident photographer and he treats me like shit.
Yeah.
And I don't even know this guy. And I'm like, this is so weird. And same with artists. Like I'll work with, you know, an artist from the top 100 lists in the world. And they're like, you know.
You've ticked off what, about 10, 15?
Yeah, I think, last
Not a
I
bad
checked,
flex, not a bad flex.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And like working with these artists directly and like everyone's so respectful and so business orientated and so nice. And then you see these like up and coming DJs and like they just expect the world and they have this ego and this attitude, and the same for photo video, and it's like it's just so counterintuitive. It's like people at the top are so nice, and then these people that are like trying to fake it till they make it, or it's like they're ahead of themselves in their head.
Do you think it comes down to like when you become a bigger artist, it becomes more like an organization and a business? Like it's not just about you anymore. Whereas you know, people starting out, it's all about them and what improving their image. Do you think comes down to that, or like
even
what
like
factors?
you know, like I think like you've done pretty well for yourself as an artist, and it's because I think it's not a coincidence that I think it's that people do well because they're nice people, not because you know they don't get nice because they get to the top. I think it's the people that are
genuine
shit. I think,
people.
the people that are nice
Yeah.
are just going to be nice the whole way through, and like you know, not let their ego take over, and the people that suck are just going to be that way like forever. You know, and it's just gonna hold them back in so many ways. And like the boys even said this to me before we went on the road. They're like, like we have to spend 2 months with you. Like, you know, there's 1 billion% better photo video content creators in Australia than me.
They said that?
Like,
It's pretty rough.
no, but like, this is me saying, but like, the reality of the situation is like, there's people that would be more deserving
More
of that than
qualified or
me and
whatever.
would make
100%.
better stuff. Like, my stuff was good, but it definitely wasn't the best by any means by that point. But, you know, it's like, who would you rather spend 2 months straight with?
Yeah, I agree. And
Someone who's chill and like doesn't complain and just works hard and like is here for a good time, or like someone who's just a dick. Like, it's
Because they also need to
100%.
feel comfortable with you. If you're videoing them and taking photos of them the whole time, the last thing they want to do is feel awkward when you're trying to video them.
yeah,
Like,
dude.
or there'd be nothing worse than, you know, being around or being on the road with people that
Just bad energy, man.
and that's even the same, like even in the industry these days, there's a lot of people with like, you know, bad vibes or just these egos, but like I don't think they realize how much it's really holding them back. Like, you know, so much of this industry feeds off like recommendations of other people and like I'll get people gigs all the time and like people like recommend me for stuff all the time, but it's like if you're addicted to me backstage at that festival one time and you don't even remember, if I need help, like you're not getting a call. Like, you know, I'm gonna hit up someone else, like for sure. So
100%. We've had experiences like that with other photographers and videographers as well. Like, and it just leaves such a sour taste. And you're just like, I don't care if their shit's the best in the world. If I don't want to be around them for like these hours, it's like, why?
You want to be someone's friend as well, like, you know.
So like a tip to a young up and coming.
Yeah, it's just be nice
Be
to
nice?
everyone, man.
Yeah.
Like, and like the funny thing is, like, you don't know, like, especially when you're young, you don't know who anyone is.
See,
Yeah.
this is the
Like,
best.
you are backstage, and like I've seen people like full try and like flex on me and like be an asshole to me, and like say my camera's backstage and I'm just chilling, like I'm just they don't know that, like,
You're a photographer
or
also.
that, you know, I'm running the media team.
Yeah.
for
You could be the owner of the festival.
or like the owner of the
absolutely.
festival,
Yeah.
and then I'll run at the back and grab my camera gear and then run on stage, and they're like,
Oh, that's
or it's
no
like, you know,
shit.
people that I've been nice to, and then
That's my favourite thing
that's
ever.
so and so's some huge artist manager, or like the guy that runs this festival, and like, you know, you made a really good impression, or like it just you have everything to lose from being bad, and you got nothing to lose from being good. There's nothing but positive things. So just be nice to everyone, and just respectful, and just, you know, like I feel like if you love what you're doing, you should be having a good time anyway. Like there's people that are like sulking and look like they're too good to be there or don't want to be there. Well, like, well, then don't be here, man. Like, so just being nice to everyone is always going to be
So
the biggest
following
thing.
off that, I'm going to hit you with, I'm a young videographer.
Okay.
I'm trying to break into the scene. My shit's okay. I think it's not bad. I want to start shooting with artists and stuff like that. How do I approach an artist? Would you say, like, what would be your steps? Are you in the DMs? Like, how are you approaching these artists to work with them? If you're an up-and-comer, like, I'm not saying you are right now because you're already there. So what would your advice be to someone like me,
I get
who's
asked
a
this
young videographer now?
a
Apparently.
lot. It's just like sort of like how to get into festivals and working with artists. It's just like, well, then what value do you have to bring to them? So look at what they have. Do they have photos that could be better, or do they don't have video content? Okay, well, I'll make you a video.
So how are you breaking that initial contact?
There's a few different, like, it depends on how you want to do it, but like you say there's an artist that's playing an event somewhere near you, like where, it doesn't matter where you live. Like if you want to tour and like work with artists, then you need to be like the best like content creator in like the city you live. If you live in a place with one bar and there's, you know, a live band every week, then go shoot that. Shoot the best stuff around you, and then just have a back catalogue to show them. And then, you know, if there's an artist you want to work with, either hit them up, hit up the promoter, hit up whoever, like anyone involved in that event that you want to do. Because like feeding back on what I said before about like shows and stuff, just look at every event as like, you know, potential content to brand and market yourself with. So like Instagram is obviously the biggest thing. A lot of people do already have, you know, content creators with them, so it can be hard to get gigs, but just, you know, if you have a show reel, send it across, or like, you know, if they have an event, like, you know, there's so many touring festivals these days, say, oh man, I see you're playing this festival, that's my hometown, I'd love to come shoot you, or like, you know, I'll travel to you, or and like, you know, just cop it, man. Like do it for free.
Yeah,
Like,
give that free value is more so the thing, because I've had people approach me and say, "Hey man, I see you're playing at this festival.
let's
Can I
collab,
come-
bro. Can
I
you
come
send
work?"
me a bag and then it's like, nah, man. Like that's not how it works.
Yeah, they'll like ask for a payment, and it's just like, okay, you're someone I've never
You're
heard of.
reaching out to me. It's like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, you sort of do
you-
need to prove yourself. It's
Yeah.
like, and I find if you are good, then you'll get rebooked and like
Yeah.
they'll bring
Yeah.
you back. So you just hit them up and just do what it takes to get that first gig. Because, say you hit someone up at a festival and like you do it for free, and maybe you don't work with them or hear from them ever again, but like
Less than
that content's still yours.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you got that photo of that festival, you can pitch that to another artist now. Or
Yeah.
then now you've worked a big stage, you can then prove to someone else what you can do on a
Yeah.
big stage.
It's on your resume now.
Because
like,
that's the hardest thing is like there's the barrier, like like I love like obviously shooting clubs and shooting festivals. There's a massive gap in between, but no sort of way to fill it.
Yep.
So it's like the way to try and fill it is like just do whatever it takes to get one festival. Because if I'm just I always pretend that I'm the dude running the festival or I'm the artist. Because if I'm running a festival and some club photographer hits me up, he goes, "Oh, I want to shoot your festival." It's like, well, what can you do for me?
yeah,
Yeah.
because you can
Like-
already cover it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
this other guy shoots festival all the time. Like, why should I get him? Like, you have no proof of work in this field.
Yeah.
So it's like you just do whatever it takes just to get across that line, and then
Exactly.
and then you can use that to then pitch yourself to other gigs. And
So in
other
summary,
artists.
really just build your profile yourself, your portfolio.
Yeah, and like Instagram is obviously like massive keys. Having a like if
digital
you, if you,
portfolio in a way.
Yeah, it literally is, man. Like people go, "Oh, like, what's your website? What's your folio?" I'm like, "Go on my Instagram, man." Like,
Yeah,
what are you,
yeah.
90 years old? Like, just, that is like your folio now. So I think
Yeah.
look at your branding. Because I used to post just whatever. Like I'd post a show photo, and then I'd post like a landscape, and then maybe a
Selfie.
and then a selfie,
Yeah.
and then like a photo I took at the beach, or like action sports.
Yeah.
And I got to the point where I was like, nah, I just want to do this music stuff.
That's
so I
sick.
went and archived literally everything on my Instagram.
Yeah.
That's not related. So the second you look at my page, you know.
You see the brand consistency.
Just see,
and-
Yeah, and that's how it's been for years. So it's like having a concise brand and direction. Like if you want to shoot weddings as well, cool, make a separate Instagram for that.
Yes.
If you
Yeah.
want to shoot chicks on the beach and models and stuff, another Instagram for that. If you want to do like
Get
whatever
the
you want to
permission
do.
first.
Yeah. Young Damo with the beach shoot. Unreal.
You know what I mean? Just an
Like you
example.
said,
It's sort of like having that branding on point is so key.
Yeah.
And that's where it comes back to like like if you shoot something for free, like a big festival or whatever it takes, and you post that photo, there's no watermark on the photo saying Damo didn't get paid for this photo.
Yeah.
Like artists don't know that.
No,
They look
no,
at your
yeah.
stuff and go, your
That's
work
cool.
is dope. So I think having your Instagram like concise and like this appeals to any industry of photography or video. Like just having a brand around like what you do. Like you go on my thing, like he takes photos at festivals and artists. Like that's his
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So like just my number one tip would have your branding sorted, like very concise, and like then if you message an artist, like and they look at your profile, you want that to count. And
Yeah.
you want to
don't want them looking at your selfie and you
Yeah, like-
fucking doing some other irrelevant stuff.
And that's like same as like a show. Like have your best shit at the start, because once you got
Yeah.
someone's attention, that's very valuable.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose it, so you want to make a good impression.
3 seconds.
Yeah,
Exactly.
dude,
That's
hard.
3
So like,
seconds.
if you message an artist and they go, "Oh, all right, maybe let's give this guy a shot. Who is he? What's he about?" Hit your Instagram, and there's a bunch of music stuff on there. There's a good chance they might hit you back and say, "Oh, well, why not? Like, let's do it." So
It's dope.
yeah, that's definitely.
I think that's
a big
some
tip.
killer advice for that next gen coming
Yeah.
up, because I feel like there's compared to the wave of how many DJs there are in the world, there's not enough media people.
There's
like,
not, man. And
I feel like
and-
there's 6.
Yeah,
I'm
dude,
like
hard.
summed
Like,
on 6.
It's
Yeah.
like, it's like when I was
Names.
starting, I felt like there
In
was.
Australia,
I felt like there
anyway.
was millions, and I feel like people
Yeah.
either, get over it and move on to like corporate stuff, or inevitably like they'll go on tour as well. And
Yeah.
that's sort of how I saw it. Was that like I was like, I'm not the best yet, and there's definitely a lot of people above me, but eventually by process of elimination, I'm going to be next in line.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's just
100%.
consistent work.
Yeah, just
and
consistent
like you
work.
said earlier, like it's like working in the gym, man. Like eventually you're gonna gain that
literally like-
momentum.
Yeah, and eventually everyone above you will either give up or they'll take off and do bigger
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And then you'll
climb
get
the
your
ranks.
turn. And it was easy like to sit back and watch people like touring and doing other stuff before I was, and get down and be like, that's what I want to be doing, and sort of getting
yeah.
like upset about it, because like I knew I definitely deserved it and was ready for it like way before I got those opportunities.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
so when I finally got it, I definitely wanted to
Preparation makes opportunity,
do that.
baby.
That's my life.
So
yeah.
to jump back a bit, you just said when you first started, you were bartending, and then you started doing photos for a nightclub. You were getting bar rates. So for people that are just getting into the photography/videography game, maybe they've just gotten their gig and they're getting bar rates at a nightclub or it's a whatever venue it is.
Yeah.
How do you escalate from being the guy just getting bar rates to getting paid like a
That's
reasonable
a really
rate?
good point, man. Because when I think
And how do you go about asking that question?
it's sort of like, as my stuff, it got to, because I'd been through this a million times where like, I'd start shooting for bar rates or just for free drinks or food for some place because I was new to it. My stuff like wasn't that good, but to them that was a fair trade. But then you do that for 6 months and then your stuff's a lot better and you got new gear and you're investing in it. And so it's like to hit them up for more can be hard, and it gets to a point where like it has to like come to an end, or you need to start getting more, or like your worth sort of slowly creeps up and then it becomes not worth your time. So it's almost easier in those times to go find a new client or a new venue, because I've always found it's easier to leave, like say if you're getting paid $25 an hour now, to get then $50 an hour something from them is like that's double. That's a
big reach. Yeah.
Even though like it's nothing to them, they'll still freak out at that. Generally, or like, but then you'll go hit up someone else and they're like, oh, like your stuff's dope. Like we pay our dudes $100 an hour in house. Like how's that sound? And they're like, holy shit. Like it's just easier to go like sort of cut like your old ties and make new first impressions with other places as well, because the people that when you first start that meet you, they're always going to remember you as that dude that was new and that sucked and that did it for free. So it's like for them to take you seriously is going to be a lot harder than to go to someone new with like your new Instagram with all your dope photos and stuff.
Building that profile again.
Building that profile and then just finding new clients is sort of the easiest way. Like instead of asking more for like like if you hit me up for something, I'm not going to charge you $1 million because like we've worked together for a long time. So it's like, but if someone else that I have worked with before, like they'll get my rate of today.
It's going to be different.
Yeah, we might get a 5-10% discount.
Unreal. No, I really love that, man. But so let's fast forward.
Yes.
Day and age. It is 2021. It's currently just hit March. So what is on the horizon for Damo? I hear some TT chats.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that for people who don't know what that is?
So 2020. So did the 2019 summer tour in Europe and came back and sort of hit the ground running when I got back and like just sort of float off that momentum and did a lot of big shows like to close out that year. Heaps of good videos, heaps of good artists, and like just a lot of opportunity came from when I got back, just from
100%
because I'd gone like and had all this dope content to show for it. And then it's 2020 started off really dope. Did some big festivals. Got to shoot Ultra. I was lucky enough to do that. That was a massive bucket list thing for me. Yeah, being on the media team for that was like something I'd like looked up to for years and years and years, and it actually fallen through for me the year prior, and I was like so devastated. And then, it all comes around and like you'll get your day. So then, was just did like was it like traveling like pretty much every week to start 2020 for the first like 2 months. Was just touring, doing heaps of epic shows and just loving it and being like, this is like really escalating like really quick now, like to a whole new level. I was like, this is obviously we all know what happened in the end, but
damn pandemic.
So this present day I'm lucky enough to I'm doing a lot of content with Timmy Trumpet, shooting and traveling with him. Did a few shows with Will Sparks recently as well, and just sort of basically every like most big festivals around like Australia and Queensland, like I'm usually play a role in.
So that's
mainly known for like my recaps and stuff is like sort of where I get a lot of my like name from, is like just these recap videos that I'm putting together for festivals, and they sort of stand out. So
I think there's such a valuable piece of content for the festival or the club itself
for
too,
sure,
which I think is a very undervalued market. You look at Tomorrowland recap, that's what inspires me to be like, whoa, I want to go to Tomorrowland.
Yeah, of course. And like at the end of the day, it's without social media, like I don't have a job.
Yeah.
It's all like there's a purpose to making this content. It's all advertising. It's all marketing material. So that's why it needs to be the best. Like at the end of the day, someone's thinking all thing about is money. Like all right, you're gonna make us this video. We're gonna use that to advertise for next year, and then we're gonna sell out because of this content. Like it's so valuable. So, getting a name for that is super key. So, present day now, got a few shows coming up. I think, what's the date?
Date is the 2nd of March, my friend.
2nd of March. I think. I mean, got Marlow this Friday. Got gone to Melbourne and then Darwin. Just obviously post COVID, like there's limited traveling to what we can do, but basically, I was meant to be touring basically the full time of last year. Was going to
Yeah.
go to Europe again, go to the States, and just sort of with no sort of indefinite return date, which I was super, super excited for.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. So obviously massive drainer for like everyone in the industry, but we're fortunate enough to be, you know, in Australia right now, and
100%. We are lucky.
grateful to be,
you
you know, in Queensland, and it's sort of, it worked out like too well, like post COVID, like the way everything sort of opened back up, and
Yeah.
I have more work than ever before now, like in.
We're in quite a fortunate position here in Queensland.
Yeah, we're
definitely.
very, very lucky, man, especially just to be in Australia, and like I see all these crazy talented people overseas just still without a job, like, and
Yeah.
Also,
you know, like I loved, like, to be honest, loved having that break, and like it was good, but yeah, like present day, just looking forward to touring and everything opening up, and just sort of seeing how much further I can take this thing, and sort
I love
of
that, dude.
And
Yeah.
one last question: what is the ultimate goal for Damien? Where do you see yourself, and what would be the peak? Obviously, it might change after you hit that, but where do you see the immediate peak?
That's the thing, is that I've set so many peaks and sort of broken them all.
Yeah.
Like,
Sick.
I was always like, oh, once I shoot a club with 500 people, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
And then I did it, and then I was stoked, but then I was like, well, now I want to shoot a club with 2,000 people.
Yeah, exactly.
And now I want to shoot a festival. Oh, now I want to shoot Ultra, like a real festival. Now
Yeah.
I want to shoot one with Pyro. Oh, now I want to do that directly with an artist. Or now I want to travel and get paid.
Yeah.
Now I want to go to Europe, and then I'll be happy. And then once I shoot this artist, I could give up forever and never shoot a day in my life, and I'll be stoked. And I've sort of learnt to stop sort of trying to do that, and just sort of like just be really happy and really grateful for everything I have now. Obviously,
Yeah.
like I'm still pushing myself every day to get better. Like I remember specifically, like the Chainsmokers is an artist I've been huge fans of like my whole life. And I remember years and years ago, I was pretty sure I said this to you. I was like,
Yeah.
man, like that's the ultimate
The
dream.
ultimate, yeah.
To shoot them would be like the craziest shit.
Long
Like,
and behold.
Yeah.
and actually, yeah, when I was in Europe, 2019, got the opportunity to shoot one of their shows, and that was like,
That's next
I
level.
was
Yeah,
like
crazy.
proper wigging out. Like I was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
super keen. But yeah, did that, and obviously was super happy. But like it sort of leaves you unfulfilled if you're always trying to fill that
Yeah.
void, I've found. But yeah, like ultimate like goals for me moving forward is just to tour indefinitely, meet a lot of artists, and just networking sort of on that bit, like going like, you know, to the States, and sort of doing what I'm doing now, but just on a bigger scale, and
Yeah.
just sort of, you know, always like, you know, I was meant to do Tomorrowland last year, and like we had a lot of stuff booked in, so yeah, just doing all that, and just sort of proving myself on that level is super exciting. So I want to do that, and yeah, like obviously I just want to tour with like bigger and bigger artists, and you know, I love shooting like, you know, portraits and like album covers and artwork and that sort of stuff. So doing that for like a big brand and big artist would be sick.
Sick.
But yeah, in terms of like what I want to do, like moving on, I don't really think that far ahead. I think I
Yeah.
just sort of taking it
Yeah.
as it comes, and sort of like I always want to be. I think like I'm too deep in the music industry. I love it too much to sort of ever really step away. Like I think I've got a few years in me to go. I think touring and doing
Yeah, sick.
doing this stuff, but I think you know, maybe later on I could just, you know, be mentoring, or, you know, just shooting for one like big club, have a residency somewhere overseas, and just shoot there if I ever want to settle down. Or
Hell yeah, man.
yeah, I think I'm just too all in right now just to
I
really
love
think
that
too
too.
far ahead. But yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
With how fast paced everything is right now, with everything online, like it's constantly changing. So I think that's a really good outlook to have, is that really open mind that it could really go anywhere. And yeah.
And yeah, sort of just realizing that, you know, it can all get taken away
Yeah.
at any time, and
Yeah.
it's sort of the reality of it all. But yeah, just sort of just like what I said before about, you know, just being grateful is sort of like I do this thing before every show, and you've probably seen me do it, and everyone like people ask me like, do you get nervous before a show? So like
Yeah.
I did it on song on Saturday. It's like I'll put my earplugs in, I'll get behind the decks, and I'll like crouch down and like full like G myself up, and I'll think back to when I was like would have killed someone to be where I am right now, or like, you know, there'll be 20,000 people and I'm like, you know, setting up the decks or something, and I'll do this before every show. I'll take a moment, I just look down at my gear, and I just like think, I'm like, man, like I think to that kid that was, you know, on the beach
That is
running up to
Yeah.
surfers and giving away his Facebook page and giving him business cards, and I just think that, you know, like I'd be so proud to see where I am now, and just sort of just be grateful for that.
Yeah.
Love
and,
that, dude.
And sort of how far I've come, and sort of have a little G up, and that just keeps me happy and humble, and just like remembering where I started. And
Yeah.
Fired up,
I
dude.
think that's the key, and that's
I think on that note, man, I
pretty
reckon
crazy,
let's wrap it up on that note, dude. That was an awesome chat. Thank you so much
Yeah, like,
for
we can go
coming
on
through.
forever and into detail about the stories and stuff. But yeah, that's sort of my outlook on everything right now. And thanks so
yeah,
much
man.
for letting me share and
course,
talk.
man.
And it was a pleasure, man. Hopefully have me back and
Yeah, no,
talk some more
definitely.
shit
Hell
another time.
yeah,
Yeah, keen to see where you go.
Definitely, man. Looking forward to it post-COVID. I think it's going to be a really good year this year. We just got to... It's going to open up. It's going to
Yeah.
open up. I'm that confident of that.
I
so
think so, man. And yeah, it's going to be all good. Like one way or the other, we'll find a way to
Hell
make
yeah.
it work. And do all
Awesome,
that.
man.
So thanks again, guys. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. So
awesome.
until next time, thank you so much for tuning in to Backstage with Oso. I guess, Damien Wright, plug your socials, my friend. Where can they find you on Instagram?
Thanks again for listening. Just DamienWright.jpg. That's the handle everywhere. And yeah, if you don't follow me already, go check out my stuff. And any questions, just message me anytime. And
Beautiful.
yeah.
Sick, slide into the DMs.
Yeah, damn,
Yes,
man.
with questions.
I love sharing. I love, like teaching people. And, some people are too, caught up these days in their secrets and not really trying to pay it back to the other people. Like everyone starts somewhere and, everyone like looks out for advice, but then they don't want to give it back to other people when they
I
ask.
love that. So
yeah.
everyone go spam Damien for all these free LUTs.
Yeah.
On
We'll
that
give you
note,
everything.
I'll send you the link. Thanks again. Take it easy,
Thanks,
guys.
Sam.
Cheers.
See ya.